Before Dante begins his terrifying journey, he stands at the dark gate of hell, trembling with fear. Above the archway, an inscription glows faintly. "Abandon all hope, ye who enter here." The air is heavy, the sky is suffocated with black smoke, and the ground vibrates with whispers of lost souls. Suddenly, a shadowy guide appears, Virgil, calm yet commanding, beckoning Dante forward. Together they step into the unknown, where every circle of hell reveals a punishment darker than the last. This is Dante's Inferno, a descent through 9 levels of eternal suffering, each reflecting the sins of mankind. Dante and Virgil step into the first circle of hell, known as Limbo. Unlike the circles below, there are no screams of agony, only endless sighs filling the air. The land feels eerily calm, resembling Earth, but stripped of light and hope. Here dwell the souls of the unbaptized and the righteous who lived before Christ. Among them stand philosophers, poets, and heroes like Plato, Socrates, and even Julius Caesar. They walk in silence, aware that this twilight existence is their eternal fate. Virgil explains that when Christ died, he descended here and led many Old Testament figures to heaven. But those who remain can only wander endlessly, never suffering yet, never reaching salvation. Dante and Virgil descend into the second circle of hell, where the punishment for lust is revealed. The air is filled with endless violent winds, stronger than hurricanes, tossing souls without rest. These spirits are blown about relentlessly, just as they were once carried away by the passions of love. Among them are tragic figures such as Dido, Paris, and Cleopatra, forever swept by the storm. The souls cry out in despair, reaching for each other, but never able to touch. Virgil explains that this is the law of contrapasso. The punishment mirrors the sin itself. Those who surrendered to desire in life are now condemned to be driven endlessly by chaotic winds. Dante, shaken by the sight, feels pity for their fate, but knows this torment will never end. Dante and Virgil descend into the third circle, where endless icy rain, sleet, and hail pour down. The ground is a filthy mire, and the souls of the gluttonous lie wallowing helplessly in the freezing sludge. They groan in misery as the storm pounds their bodies, unable to shield themselves from the torment. Above them prowls Cerberus, the monstrous 3-headed hound from ancient myth. Each of its heads snarls and tears at the souls, shredding them into pieces that quickly regenerate. The souls writhe in terror, pretending to lie still, as if lifeless, to avoid Cerberus's fangs. Dante recoils at the horrific sight, but Virgil throws clumps of dirt into the beast's mouths to distract it. The guide explains that in life, these people consumed endlessly, and now they themselves are consumed. Here Dante learns that on Judgment Day, all souls will be reunited with their bodies, perfect joy in heaven, but perfect suffering in hell. This dreadful truth chills Dante even more than the icy rain falling all around him. Dante and Virgil step into the fourth circle, where chaos echoes like crashing waves. A sea of souls rush toward each other, endlessly colliding with violent force in the darkness. Each soul carries massive money bags, swinging them like weapons in a futile battle. The clashing sound of coins and cries fills the air, creating a deafening storm of greed. Dante notices bald figures among the crowd, some resembling friars once tied to the church. Virgil explains that half of these souls were clerics who hoarded wealth, and the other half were misers of the world. Their faces are so disfigured by centuries of fighting that no identity can be recognized. The souls push, strike, and fall, only to rise again, repeating this endless battle for nothing. Dante recoils at their madness, understanding that their punishment mirrors their obsession with earthly treasure. Virgil reminds him that the fight for wealth has no meaning in death, only eternal futility. Dante and Virgil step into a swamp-like wasteland where the air reeks of decay. A sea of mud churns endlessly thick and black, swallowing souls in violent struggle. Angry spirits claw and strike at one another, desperate to push rivals deeper into the mire. Bubbling beneath the surface are hidden souls, their muffled cries seeping up as frothing bubbles. These trapped spirits gurgle eternally, their laments echoing like drowned voices. Dante shudders as he realizes this is wrath turned inward and outward, consuming the damned. The river Styx stretches before them, wide and dark, filled with more furious souls thrashing in the water. A boat approaches, steered by Phlegias, the infernal boatman, with a twisted face and burning eyes. He ferries Dante and Virgil across the cursed river while enraged souls claw at the boat from below. In the distance, a fiery red glow emerges, revealing the looming city of Dis. Dante and Virgil step into the burning city of Dis, its towering iron walls glowing red-hot under a smoky sky. The ground is covered in endless rows of stone tombs, each glowing with flames from within. Souls of heretics lie inside these tombs, screaming as the fire consumes them without end. Fallen angels act as guards, pacing between the tombs with spears and twisted wings of shadow. The air is filled with the smell of scorched stone and the cries of those who defied divine truth. Dante sees the name of King Frederick II carved into one tomb, his figure writhing in eternal flames. The punishment follows the law of contrapasso, as those who denied the afterlife now burn forever in deathless fire. Virgil explains that this circle holds all who rejected the soul's immortality, philosophers and rulers alike. The heat grows unbearable, and Dante shields his face as sparks and ash swirl like a storm of agony. They walk deeper into the fiery necropolis, knowing darker horrors await in the circles below. Dante and Virgil enter the seventh circle, where the air smells of blood and smoke rising from a fiery wasteland. In the outer ring, a river of boiling blood called phlegathon stretches wide, glowing red under the watch of centaurs. Souls of tyrants and murderers thrash in the burning current arrows shot at any who try to rise above their depth. Dante sees Alexander the Great half-submerged, his face twisted in pain, as centaurs drive him deeper with spears. The blood grows hotter toward the center, with some souls buried to their chests and others completely consumed. Moving into the middle ring, they enter a twisted forest of black gnarled trees under a sky of eternal dusk. Dante pulls a branch and blood pours from the bark. As the tree screams in agony, it is the soul of a suicide. Harpies with monstrous wings tear at the trees, eating their leaves and fruits, leaving the souls in constant torment. Virgil explains that those who rejected their bodies now must spend eternity as trees trapped and mutilated forever. In the inner ring, the ground is a vast desert of burning sand, where naked souls wander endlessly, scorched by flames. Fire rains down from the blackened sky, each ember searing the souls until their bodies glow with unbearable pain. Dante notices usurers crouched on the ground, their eyes fixed on heavy purses hung from their necks as brands of greed. A giant named Capaneus lies laughing defiantly on the sand, though flames consume his body in unending torture. Virgil explains that violence against God, nature, and art is punished here, where rebellion is met with fire from above. As they leave, Dante trembles, realizing the violence of man has many faces, all cursed to eternal suffering. Dante and Virgil descend into the eighth circle known as Malebolge, a vast pit divided into 10 concentric trenches of fraud. The air is thick with stench, and the rocky walls glow faintly red from the fires burning below. In the first bolge, seducers and panderers are forced to march endlessly, while demons whip them without mercy. Dante sees their backs torn open, each step filled with agony, yet no end to their path. In the second bolge, flatterers are plunged into a river of filth, drowning in the very lies they once spread. Their cries echo as they choke in filth, their bodies sinking deeper with every false word. The third bolge holds simoniacs, priests and church leaders who sold sacred offices buried upside down in flaming holes. Only their feet stick out, burned constantly by tongues of fire, as new sinners replace the old. In the fourth bolge, sorcerers and fortune-tellers walk with their heads twisted backward, forever forced to gaze behind them. Dante trembles at the sight of their tears streaming down their backs, unable to look forward ever again. In the fifth bolge, corrupt politicians known as baratores are boiled in a lake of tar demons, thrusting them down with hooks. Some try to rise, but claws and spears drag them back under the bubbling black pitch. The sixth bolge contains hypocrites who wear glittering golden robes that are lined with heavy lead, crushing them as they walk. Dante sees Caiaphas, the high priest who betrayed Christ, crucified on the ground, trampled endlessly by passing sinners. In the seventh bolge, thieves are attacked by serpents that bite and fuse with them, bodies dissolving and reforming in agony. Dante watches as souls burst into ash, only to be reborn in pain as the cycle repeats forever. The eighth bolge punishes evil counselors, their souls trapped inside small flames flickering across the dark trench. Among them, Dante glimpses Ulysses consumed by fire for leading men to their deaths through deception. In the ninth bolge, sowers of discord are hacked apart by demons with blades, their wounds healing only to be cut again. Dante shudders as he sees a sea of mutilated bodies torn apart, screaming in endless torment. The 10th bolge is filled with falsifiers, alchemists, counterfeiters, and liars covered in scabs, plagued by disease and scratching endlessly. Their shrieks of madness fill the black pit as their flesh rots, consumed by corruption they once spread in life. Dante and Virgil leave Malebolge shaken by the endless variety of fraud and the horrors of human deceit. Dante and Virgil descend into the ninth circle, Cocytus, a frozen lake where the worst traitors are punished. The icy wind howls across the lake, freezing tears on the sinners' faces as they emerge from the ice. In China, traitors against their kin are trapped up to their necks in the ice, their faces locked in eternal grief. Dante sees brothers glaring at each other, unable to move, their family bonds shattered forever. In Antenora, traitors against their country are frozen deeper, some gnawing at one another's skulls in rage. The silence is broken by muffled screams as teeth grind against bone in endless hatred. In Ptolemea, traitors to guests and friends lie completely encased in ice, their souls here even before their bodies have died. Dante recoils when he learns that demons already inhabit those still living bodies on earth. In Judeca, traitors to God and lords are twisted and contorted under the crystal ice, their forms almost unrecognizable. Their tears freeze, instantly sealing them in glassy prisons of despair. At the very center stands Lucifer, a monstrous figure with 3 faces, black, red, and yellow, locked forever in the ice. His 6 wings flap slowly, generating the icy wind that chills all of Cocytus. In his 3 mouths, Lucifer eternally chews Judas, Brutus, and Cassius, traitors, condemned to the worst torment. Blood and tears stream down his bodies, forming rivers across the frozen wasteland. Dante and Virgil look upon the devil's horror, realizing they have reached the darkest pit of all existence. In silence, they begin their final climb out of hell, leaving behind Cocytus and its eternal frost. We have journeyed through the 9 circles of Dante's Inferno, from Limbo's sighing shadows to Cocytus's frozen despair. Each level revealed punishments shaped by contrapasso, where sin is mirrored in eternal suffering. We saw the lustful blown by endless storms, the gluttons crushed under icy rain, and the wrathful drowning in mud. We witnessed heretics burning in tombs, the violent scorched by rivers of blood and sand, and the fraudulent trapped in grotesque torments. At last we stood before Lucifer himself, the embodiment of treason, locked forever in ice with his 3 monstrous faces. The Inferno is not merely a tale of horror, it is a mirror held up to human weakness, a vision of how choices echo through eternity. Dante's descent reminds us that every action, whether of greed, wrath, or betrayal, leaves an indelible mark on the soul. And yet his journey also points forward beyond despair toward the hope of redemption and the climb into light. If you found this exploration of Dante's Inferno haunting yet fascinating, imagine where we could descend or ascend next. Subscribe now so you don't miss the next journey into the depths of history, myth, and the human condition.